Okay, it's time for my news mashup. Children from low-income families in U.S. more likely to miss school for health reasons. Children in low-income households are more likely to be chronically absent from school for health reasons, according to a new report from the National Center for Health Statistics. The finding adds a new piece to the puzzle for schools trying to combat chronic absenteeism, a post-pandemic phenomenon that has become a major concern. Several studies have shown that chronic absenteeism, a term alternatively defined as missing 15 or 18 days over the course of the school year, depending on the study, had nearly doubled between 2019 and 2022. School attendance is associated with improved health, not only in childhood, but adulthood, said Lindsay Black, a researcher with the NCHS Division of Health Interview Statistics, who authored the report. With recent increases in absenteeism, the NCHS wanted to delve into the details of exactly which students were missing more school. Black found that 7.9% of children living below the national poverty line, $23,000 for a family of three, missed school for health reasons, often enough to be considered chronically absent, including for injury, illness, or disability, compared with children whose families earn double the limit. Absenteeism has emerged as a major challenge to public schools in the post-pandemic era, with several independent pieces of research finding a near doubling of chronic absenteeism. Critically, the most recent data suggests chronic absenteeism is far above pre-pandemic baselines, said Thomas D., a professor at Stanford University's graduate school and an economist who studies education and school absenteeism. D., who was not involved in the study, said the new data adds detail but is far from the whole story. A recent report by D. in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that chronic absenteeism, defined in that research as missing more than 18 days, nearly doubled between 2019 and 22, from 14.8% to 28.3%. That implies that an additional 6.5 million of the nation's students are chronically absent or were chronically absent in 2022. Critically, researchers are still working to understand why children are missing so much school. Dee said his findings, his preliminary hypothesis is that the coronavirus pandemic may have changed norms, and he drew a line connecting school attendance behaviors and the new predominance of hybrid work arrangements. I'm inclined to credit some type of norm reduction among American students and families. In other words, some deterioration in how they value school attendance in the wake of the very traumatic experience we had during the pandemic. While there is more evidence to suggest that the problem of chronic absenteeism is not getting worse, researchers have also found that it had not gotten substantially better in 2023. The NCHS report builds on findings released in late February, which found the rate of children chronically absent for health reasons nearly doubled between 2019 and 2022, but from 3.3% to 5.8%. I am sure that there is a connection also between being poor or living in poverty and not being able to get the medical help that you need, which also will impact your school going experience. So people really need to think about the fact that there is a birth rate decline, the fact that the medical community is in the decline, the fact that they're running medical professionals out, and the fact that they're running teachers out. All of this is creating a cluster F in this country. Now to segue to a story that has absolutely no connection to the previous story. Ex-college football star, son of Texas A&M associate head coach, arrested in poisoning deaths of girlfriend and unborn baby. Blaise Taylor, an analyst at Texas A&M and son of the school's associate head coach, was arrested in Utah on Thursday after being indicted in the 2023 deaths of his girlfriend and unborn child, according to Nashville police. Taylor, a former college football star at Arkansas State, was indicted Wednesday by a Nashville grand jury and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the poisoning deaths of his girlfriend and her 5-month-old fetus, which Taylor is alleged to have fathered. He was held without bail Friday night at the Cache County Jail in Logan, Utah, jail records show. An attorney for Taylor was not listed in the jail records. Taylor is alleged to have poisoned Benning without her knowledge while visiting her in her Lebanon Pike apartment on the night of February 25th. She was rushed to a hospital that night after Taylor called 911 and told them Benning appeared to be having an allergic reaction. Her unborn baby died 2 days later, and Benning died on March 6, 2023, police said. Authorities said they were not able to interview her before her death. Police did not release any details about the alleged poisoning. Months of investigation led by Homicide Unit Detective Adam Reese and involving scientists from the crime laboratories and doctors from the medical examiner's office led to Wednesday's return of the murder indictment against Taylor. Shortly after their deaths, Taylor moved to Utah, according to police. Nashville police say they are working with Utah authorities to arrange his return. Taylor was recently named an analyst at Texas A&M, but the school announced on Friday night that he was placed on suspension pending an investigation. He was a defensive back. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Trooper Taylor is now, I don't care about that either. He raised a son that harmed. Yes, okay. Okay, I think that's it on this one. I will actually include the statement from the Texas A&M coach. He says, "Our thoughts are with all those affected by this heartbreaking situation, including the family and friends of the victim. It's essential to allow the courts to handle this situation with the diligence and fairness it demands." That's what Texas A&M head football coach Mike Elko said in a statement released by the university. "We would also like to extend our prayers and support to Coach Trooper Taylor, Dr. Evelyn Taylor, and their family as they navigate this extremely difficult time that was caused by their son and his arrangement and his actions." So, yeah, prayers to them. And the kind of prayers that I would give to them would not be amazing prayers. It wouldn't be prayers of like, yeah, never mind. All right, you guys go ahead and join the conversation. Let me know what you think about these two stories. Don't forget to like, comment, share. Final story from CBS Mornings. This is Major Michael Stocking. He is facing sexual misconduct allegations for 42 male patients. However, the lawyer that is representing these male patients said that there could actually be hundreds of potential victims that come forward. Check out this video from CBS Mornings.
The U.S. Army is facing what could be one of the largest abuse scandals in its history. CBS News is investigating the case of an Army doctor who is accused of sexual misconduct. His name is Major Michael Stocking. He faces allegations from 42 male patients who say he has abused their trust. Jonathan Bigliotti sat down exclusively with two of the alleged victims whose identities we are not revealing. Speaking publicly for the first time, they say that this doctor, instead of healing them, left them with very deep wounds. We should warn you this story may be triggering in language and in its content.
CBS News has obtained these videotaped interviews made by the Army's Criminal Investigation Division.
He said, "No, I need you to drop trial."
I'm thinking to myself, like, what the hell is this for? And I'm here for my neck.
Disturbing accounts by victims of alleged sex crimes, whose identities we concealed.
It's definitely not normal. I feel like a victim.
They detail claims of sexual abuse at the hands of their doctor, Major Michael Stocking, a pain management anesthesiologist at Washington State's Joint Base Lewis McChord. According to the charging documents obtained by CBS News, Stocking faces over 50 counts of sexual misconduct that spans more than 2 years while treating 42 patients, all of them men.
I trusted Dr. Stockton.
We sat down with two of Stockton's accusers, patients who saw him at Madigan Army Medical Center, who are sharing their stories publicly for the first time. They asked to speak anonymously out of fear of retaliation.
He would take a knee, and that's where he would kind of conduct his examination. Everything was pretty much mid-calf to waist level.
When you say waist, you mean groin?
Groin area, yes.
Myself and Dr. Stockton were left alone in the room. He first checked my shoulders, and then he asked me to stand up. Dr. Stockton, he was face level with my groin, and he started touching my genitals.
You went in for a long-standing chronic issue of shoulder pain. What is a doctor doing inspecting you in an area down there near your groin.
Exactly. I was very confused.
Both men, now retired, each spent more than 20 years in the Army, both completing 3 combat tours.
Even with my wife, I couldn't bring myself to talk through what happened to her. It just felt very uncomfortable.
In the military, there's a term to put what happens to you inside your duffel bag, shove it down, and continue to march on. So I was willing to do that. I was willing to shove it into my duffel bag and march on.
Stockin's alleged pattern of behavior calls to mind the chilling details of infamous USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar, who preyed on patients under the guise of treatment. In this case, patients say they also tried to give the doctor, an Army major, the benefit of the doubt.
Being in the military at the time for 19 years, I trusted the medical doctor I was seeing.
I think there are victims out there that might not even know they're victims.
The scale of the case is historic, according to their attorney, Ryan Gildes.
We're aware of cases like the gymnastics case. We're aware of cases where medical professionals have abused trust. That's not unique to the military. But the scope and scale of it, for a doctor to have been alleged to have abused that trust for so very many victims, is unprecedented.
How many potential victims are we talking about?
Hundreds.
In this case?
I'm convinced it's hundreds.
Male service members are much less likely to report sexual assault than their female counterparts, according to the Defense Department. Gildes, who is representing 7 of Stockin's accusers pro bono, says the Army failed to support victims.
It's the actions that matter. And these unforced errors in failing to care for our survivors undermines the credibility of the Army and is a real shame.
The Army told CBS News that the investigation will remain open through trial, and it will further investigate should additional victims come forward. In the meantime, Stockin has been suspended from patient care. In a statement to CBS News, Stockin's lawyer stated that his client is presumed innocent, adding this legal fight is just getting started. Both men we spoke with intend to share their story again at the court-martial, scheduled to begin in October.
It's emotional. It's not something I'm used to. I can deal with a lot of things. I can deal with anger, I can deal with combat, but emotions and things like that, it's personal.
And all of these charges relate to Stockin's time in Madigan Army Medical Center, but the investigation is ongoing. Stockin had previously been assigned to duty stations in Maryland, Hawaii, and Iraq. If convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of more than 300 years in prison.